What is the most annoying social media trend online? For Pokemon fans, it could be the influx of social media grifters that are flooding the hobby with more resellers and scalpers than ever before, turning a card game that was predominantly aimed at kids into a cycle of disappointment and sold-out booster boxes, meaning that the barrier for entry for enthusiastic newbies is higher than ever.
Look at these scalpers, dude. Just 2 scalpers. Hope y'all get all the Pokemon. Don't leave any for the kids.
Or maybe it's the fast turnover of aesthetic-based fashion trends that brands pump and dump out every couple of months. One month goth is really popular, alternative fashion is booming, and then the next month it is a costume for you to wear to shock your mild-mannered Midwestern boyfriend at the local Chili's date. However, one trend that I think we all have a gripe with are the incessant, obtuse street interviewers. People standing around high-traffic city areas with a tripod and a dream. Or, even worse, and sadly increasingly more common, men approaching women and minorities with meta glasses already set to stream. The idea of turning everyday life and the standard boring commute to work into an opportunity to farm content. This video style has permeated every single corner of social media. The normalization of softcore surveillance software such as meta glasses has allowed people to be used in all manner of online content, sometimes without any knowledge that they were even recorded in the first place. A plague of Temu Spurlocks hoping to get the next viral rage bait that's circulating on Twitter.
I'ma just be a straight up hater. These street interviewers in Japan need to be stopped. Y'all motherfuckers been asking the same questions for the past 15 years. Do Japanese people like black women? Do Japanese people like black men? Do they want to date black people? I don't give a What do foreigners think of Japanese men? Who cares?
But sure, not all street interviews are made equal. In fact, there are a lot of accounts out there that use this format as a way of seemingly spreading joy or interesting information. One account called Yuji Beliza has over 10 million followers just on TikTok alone, with his content being based around street interviews where he can guess and talk people's language, showcasing his linguistic skills and by proxy showing how languages often have a way of stripping down barriers and prejudice. And often, as you might expect, these interviews do start a little bit clunky, a little bit awkward, people at times being visibly cagey due to the fact that they can identify a camera looking and being pointed at them. However, very often and very quickly, you'll see this hesitation melt away as Yuji attempts to connect with them through their home and native language. Anything from French or Mandarin to more region-specific dialects. Although you could argue that interrupting somebody's day like this is still a nuisance, the editing and framing of his content tends to show a more positive side to multiculturalism and the idea of diversity. And to be honest, Yuji's content may very well have inspired other people to learn to pick up a language, connect with their roots, and want to learn the language of their ancestors. And equally, as a fashion lover, I also really enjoy the content from accounts like World Microphone. They talk to people on the street of all ages and backgrounds, predominantly focusing on their personal style and their personal journey to getting to that style, the approach of which almost inherently always feels like it's in good faith. And I guess it was this idea of good faith that got me thinking about street interviews. Because just the other day, and again today as I'm filming, I saw this video pop up, assumably reposted multiple times by the original creator, which in itself is a bit weird.
Excuse me, sorry to disturb you. You look incredible. I love your...
Mate, stay over there. Don't be a prick.
Definitely was not expecting that. Expect the unexpected.
Now at first, this video doesn't feel off at all. The guy running the account, called Abdullah, approaches the Sikh man in seemingly good faith, being polite and complimenting his outfit, to which the Sikh man then thrashes out and knocking the phone over quite aggressively. And obviously the ending of it is him just being like, oh, don't know why he did that, like that sucks, you know, just kind of saying like, oh, those things do happen, like these interactions can happen, we don't usually show them, and that's fine. Pretty cut and dry, right? Well, not really. The thing is, in the UK right now, we're actually living amongst a lot of radical, racial and religious tension, spurred on by right-wingers and political parties that seek to divide the inherent multicultural nature of Britain, making it into an us versus them thing, which is simply not how the UK has ever been. Again, the best part of the UK is inherently the diversity. It is a fantastic thing. We have faced violent riots and protests actively targeting minority groups and again making people within our communities feel and be unsafe. Not to mention the spread of misinformation through news outlets such as GB News, who just the other day allowed a guest on their show that made the claim that gay men are scientifically proven to be more of a danger to young boys.
So there's a commentator on GB News going by the name Based and Bougie, who this week told a national audience that gay men are statistically more likely to essay their adopted children. Quick disclaimer before I carry on, I'm using the term essay not to minimise the act, but to make sure this video doesn't get suppressed. Anyway, she said it's a statistic that has been proven time and time again and that she'd post them, and I quote, when I go online after this. So I went online to her accounts to find the receipts and the evidence that she promised. Let me tell you what I found and what I didn't. Her claim live on air on one of the UK's biggest news channels was twofold: that gay men are more prone to sexual deviancy and more likely to essay their adopted children. Now that is a big claim, which should be pretty simple to evidence if it's been proven time and time again. So here are the actual statistics. The landmark study, which is from Paediatrics in 1994, studied every single child essay case at a major children's hospital over a year. Out of 269 cases they reviewed, 2 of the perpetrators were gay or lesbian. 2. The actual experts who study offenders have said for decades that and homosexuality are not the same thing. Most men who essay children aren't gay. In fact, the overwhelming majority, according to the actual very few statistics out there, are heterosexual men who are usually known to the child prior. And on adopted kids specifically, there's a very clear consensus across existing research that children of same-sex parents do just as well as everyone else is on academic results, social development, psychological health, the lot. Meta-analysis after meta-analysis shows that these kids do equally well, and some studies even found that kids of gay fathers in particular do even better. But Based and Bougie said she'd post her proof, so let's take her at her word, shall we? From what I can find, she did not, in fact, ever post that proof. No studies, no data, no statistics, nothing. What she did post recently, though, was a mocking jab at how most people don't like gays because they're hypersexual, again without any evidence to back that up. A question as to whether those voting with heart and integrity are gay, and a remark about how much she despises the LGBTQ+.
I actually made a comment on this video highlighting that although violence wasn't at all appropriate, because it's not really, like you don't need to raise to aggression, especially so quickly, for no reason, but I also couldn't blame the man for feeling uncomfortable for being approached and filmed. As the fact that this video was still posted and used at all goes to show that negative interactions, or the perception of a negative interaction, can still be posted online to a large audience. And in fact, often negative videos gain more traction algorithmically. People love drama, people love danger, people love hearing about bad things. It's just what gets pushed. And actually, as a reply to my comment aptly pointed out, the Sikh community, amongst others, are feeling more vulnerable due to these inflammatory headlines and propaganda. This man likely had no idea why he was being rapidly approached with a camera out, nor would he have known if this was a live stream or a video being made in good faith. Because to be clear, the intentions of these interviews aren't always immediately obvious. And yet the replies defending Abdullah not only seem to be overwhelmingly from men, but kind of showcased unintentionally the exact reason why people are becoming increasingly less comfortable with these street interviews. If you're deemed impolite or even unfriendly with declining or your interaction, especially as a woman or a minority, you will apparently have people wishing death on your bloodline. And in another video of Abdullah's, he approaches an alternative looking woman who then immediately asks, "Oh, is that a camera?"
Sorry to disturb you. You look incredible.
It's alright, you're rolling. Is that a camera?
Yeah, that's a camera. Are you happy with that?
I mean, why not?
What makes you feel alive?
Dressing up, exploring different facets of who I am. I'm autistic. I've been denied like my identity for a really long time. So like dressing like this is just a facet of me.
Sure, the interaction does conclude positively by the end of it, but as an alternative woman myself, it feels fairly evident that the person on camera wasn't entirely comfortable being filmed before they were told the context of why they were being filmed. For all she knew, this could have been a guy from the manosphere side of online content creation hoping to use her to humiliate her, to laugh at her appearance, or to farm views and clicks with an audience that she may not politically or socially agree with. Because again, that really is an epidemic of content right now. That's not a rare thing to happen, sadly. And again, to be clear, this isn't to suggest at all that Abdullah himself is doing anything sinister, because I don't think that he is. But I do think it's very easy for some people online, especially men, to forget that approaching a woman this way, especially on her own, can feel inherently threatening or more unsettling. Just because you ended up with consent to film after the fact doesn't mean it would have necessarily been given freely if you hadn't been rolling the camera before she had the opportunity to say yes or no. Some people can feel really, really awkward declining being filmed. Some people can feel really awkward navigating the interaction of, hey, actually, I don't want to be filmed, especially when they're already aware of the fact that saying no doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to be posted online. And I believe in the interview itself, she actually mentioned that she's autistic, and potentially that could have also played into her ability to give consent when it comes to social cues and being approached by a man on her own. Again, I'm not trying to talk for her, but I do think it's important to acknowledge that that could be a factor as to why somebody, especially a woman on her own, could feel increasingly more likely to say yes to a video because she feels awkward and uncomfortable. Street interviewers just don't ask you permission anymore. They just look at you like this. Please guys, somebody talk to me. So today's video was sponsored by the beautiful members over on my Patreon, because we don't have a regular sponsor, but we do have our ongoing channel supporters. Starting at $2.50 a month, you can get ad-free and downloadable viewing of all of my publicly available content. And for Otaku and Oshi tier patrons, you also get early access viewing of my content when possible, and of course, additional Patreon exclusive content for those tiers. Some of my most recent Patreon exclusive content has included an updated office and collection tour, which is over an hour long, as well as my 2 panels from MegaCon London, including one interactive panel that you can play along with whilst you watch. And of course, I have more travel vlogs and other video ideas planned, so stay tuned for that too, because they'll be uploaded and scheduled as we go on. In a time where about 90% of the emails myself and other creators get for sponsorships are AI, stuff like Dollar AI, which are persistent and constant and you can't filter them out, it is really important and it's really, really appreciated to have people actively supporting me, my channel, what I make and create. Your direct support does mean a lot. It does mean the world. So if you can, please consider checking out the Patreon. And this brings me on to another video that I saw a while ago that showcases another issue with these street interviews or street interaction content. So in this video, we see the creator approach a younger looking woman in alternative fashion, and immediately bro goes to touch her face, which we see the very awkward lean away. That gave me the ick immediately. And then he proceeds to take her hand, spin her around, and then present her with a plastic rose. It is a painful watch. And for most women in the audience, I think we can all recognize that look of discomfort, polite discomfort that we see on this woman's face. That leaning away, like, oh, thank you, oh, okay, thank you, kind of look, like the really uncomfortable, I don't know if you're going to be okay with me declining physical touch, so I'm gonna like try and politely pull away, politely remove myself. All of it screams that familiar breed of trying to be polite despite feeling really uncomfortable. You may not be aware of this if you're a guy in the audience. Again, I'm not trying to talk down to you, I'm just being real. You may have not experienced a man just coming up to you and trying to touch you. Most women have. I don't know if you're going to hurt me. I don't know if you're a threat. I'm gonna like kind of be polite, even if I don't want to be polite. I actually ended up messaging the woman who was featured in this video about whether she gave consent to be in the video, if she was happy being in the video. And if you want to check her out, she actually has a J Fashion, kawaii fashion account called Stars Apocalypse, so consider checking that out. And she told me that although she gave consent and was okay to be filmed, she didn't expect him to be touchy with her. That wasn't something that was discussed, like that wasn't something that was communicated between the two. And so him touching her, going to touch her face, holding her hand, doing all that shtick, that was an unscripted discomfort. He was pushing a boundary because he hadn't discussed it with her. And so again, she gave consent to be filmed, she gave consent to be on camera, she was perfectly polite with it, but she was still left in a position where she was like, oh, okay, I didn't want that, but now I feel like I have to be polite because I've agreed, like I've consented to this now, so I'm a bit like, you know. Also, funniest part of all, which I think is probably common practice, but she didn't even get to keep the rose. Didn't even get to keep the damn flower. He took that back. He took that back! With the rise and use of filming equipment targeting women just minding their own business on the street, content like this, in my opinion, doesn't help with blurring the lines of consent when it comes to physical touch and personal space when it comes to online content. Sure, this guy may have asked consent to film, although apparently didn't ask consent to touch, but other people don't see that that's something that you need to do behind the scenes. They're not aware of the fact that you should be doing consent forms, that you should be doing a full risk assessment basically of what you're going to do and explain it thoroughly. They're just going to assume that you can go up to a stranger, take their hand and dance with them, and that's actually not really something you should be doing. Sorry. say that I have no whimsy or whatever, but like, it's a bit weird. When headlines are being made because men are filming women on their nights out, often drunk, often more vulnerable, using things like meta glasses or sneaking their phone camera into situations, is it any surprise why women tend to be the loudest voices against this style of content? But of course, this behavior doesn't just stop and start here. Because this genre of content has now spread, causing a plague of chuds to go into queer or niche hobby spaces and essentially go there to bully, harass, and film the people participating in good faith. An incident that happened at MegaCon Birmingham back in March really goes to highlight the issue with meta glasses and subversive filming as a form of online engagement, interaction, and growth. You see, MegaCon, a popular anime convention here in the UK, was being held at the Birmingham NEC Centre, but at the same time, also at the NEC Convention Centre, there were two other conventions happening that same weekend. One was DreamHack, which is a gaming convention meant to be a competitor for the now defunct Insomnia Gaming Festival, as well as the Arnold Sports Festival, which is predominantly a health and bodybuilding convention and kind of event. And due to these three conventions taking place over the same weekend in the same space, it did lead to certain DreamHack and Arnold attendees finding it appropriate to harass, bully, follow, and film cosplayers without their consent or even knowledge. A huge social media personality and bodybuilder in the industry, Greg Doucette, I probably said his name wrong, but Doucette sounds about right in this situation, decided to jump in on this and also film people, including minors, as a way of, again, doing social content.
Big day for the unemployed at the Arnold Classic. The bodybuilders go crazy this year.
Did you ask them to oil up before you recorded them too?
And apparently this whole unemployed thing is his shtick, but again, you're saying this to people who don't know who the f you are or particularly care. Like, most of these people don't know or care who you are, they don't know your shtick. You've essentially just stood up in front of a bunch of people who are trying to do a group photo for their cosplay and then call them unemployed, and it looks like you're laughing at them in their mind. Like, it's not appropriate, it's a bit weird. Not to mention that your audience are probably going to be laughing at them. It seems like you're trying to laugh at them. You're filming them to be funny, not because you're like, oh, look at all of these cosplayers, like, they're doing this on a Friday, like, how are all these people in these costumes on a damn Friday? They must be unemployed. Like, you're not even being funny, you're just kind of filming people as the joke. And one kit creator called J200, which, by the way, you don't want to be a kit creator, my god, being a kick streamer is embarrassing, to be honest. It usually means that you're an awful person. If you're streaming on Kick rather than Twitch, he made it his and his friend's mission to go around the convention filming women, filming minors, harassing them, bothering them, and getting in their way.
So it's come to my attention, yeah, that the cosplay anime community are after me, man. They're coming for me, they're coming for my neck. All because of this. Let's get a picture, No consent. That's just how he likes it. Long day, guys, am I right? Hey, guys. How you guys been? How you been? We're just chilling. Yeah, good. What's the outfit? Oh, yeah, new outfit. Yeah, yo, don't film. Don't film, that's weird, mate. Don't film, that's fucking weird, mate. Don't. She was about to ask my Instagram. She got Instagram up. I really wasn't. You were? I saw you got Instagram up on your phone. Oh, you want to get my gram? Can I get it? Oh, you look what you done, you fucked it. Excuse me. My friend is a bit shy, but you want me to, like, introduce you guys?
Also.
What do you want to say? He likes you, babe.
Okay, thank you. How pretty I am.
No, pretty? Yeah, you're pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, he's pretty. He said he's been gooning for like 3 nights in a row?
What?
Gooning.
Sorry.
I don't know, what does that mean? He's being a bit weird, sorry. Right. W's in the chat.
Oh my god.
You on Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm banned on Twitch.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my face is banned. Oh. I'm not banned, I can say hello.
Oh, wait, what did you do?
He's banned as well. No, I'm not banned. He's like, I never seen him on Twitch, can I say hi?
No.
No, we're not banned, we're not banned, I'm joking. Bro, we know ones, Oh, she got a wrist shot, bro. W speed. No, that be things like that. W story, man. That's gonna blow up. That's making you viral, man.
Going around trying to humiliate cosplayers on their live stream, as well as interrupting group photos for jokes, and even going on to make sexually harassing comments to multiple cosplayers, which was luckily caught on his own stream.
Would I put this up my ass or what? Wait, be honest, have you ever did you ever? Nah? Alright, no worries, thank you. What?
I was filmed without my consent by J200 at the NEC in Birmingham on Saturday. And I'm not the only one. After my previous video, I found out who it was who filmed me and found their stream. During the 4-hour stream, many cosplayers, including minors, were approached, harassed, made fun of, and filmed without their consent. With a lot of people actually stating, please stop filming me, and asking them to leave them alone. These 3 men were attending the DreamHack event also being held in the NEC on the same day, and they weren't the only people harassing cosplayers for content. I've seen at least 3 separate creators approaching unconsenting MegaCon attendees for quick content grabs, usually rage bait, labeling them as unemployed, body shaming, and clearly targeting vulnerable people. Cosplayer Spill the Tea had a particularly nasty interaction with a man filming her with meta glasses. I was approached by the man you see in the video. When I noticed that he was filming, I was too shocked and anxious to say anything, and at that point I just wanted the interaction to end. So when he asked me a very uncomfortable sexual question, I just took my prop back and turned away. I am fine, but there are so many cosplayers that have been filmed without their permission and are in this stream who will be unaware of it. The best thing we can do now as a community is let people know that they might be in this video, report the videos and accounts of the people who have been making this content, and do not interact with them afterwards. Let's not give these people the attention they want. Meta glasses need to be banned at all conventions. And please, if you are filming content and want to film with someone, just ask for their permission first. It's basic human decency and it's consent. I hope everyone's okay after this and still had a good weekend despite all of this. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next one.
And to be clear as well, there was an ongoing theme of them targeting women for this too. I didn't really see any videos of them approaching buff-looking men, going up to guys from the Arnold, trying to make fun of them. No, they seem to just target groups of women or obviously more androgynous or queer people to make fun of them. Which again, why are you trying to punch down, little man? Like, honestly, I bet J200 and his team in those tracksuits smelled like a dirty piercing. It's loser behavior. And another guy that thought it'd be fun to sexually harass and pick on women is a self-proclaimed flat earther called E. Dobbin. He decided to approach a young cosplay influencer called Spill the Tea using his meta glasses as a way of streaming and filming. And when she ends up questioning it later in the video, clearly cottoning on to the fact that he was recording this interaction for clicks, he ends up kind of changing his tune, congratulating her boyfriend on her dressing that way, and trying to initiate flirting and more adult lines of conversation. And again, if you have any doubts about his intentions or you want to play devil's advocate, then let me clear up a few more things that he himself was happy to post in his own comment section. Because T, the cosplayer in question, is a 19-year-old young woman, but I would argue in her cosplay does look like she could be anywhere from around 16 years old, so could very easily pass as a minor. And in his comments, E. Dobbin was joking about wanting to cuck her boyfriend, posting a picture of a bed with a chair in front of it and continuing to make lines of sexual inquiries and jokes within his comment section to his audience. Not to mention the mass amount of men who were also joining in on this or just laughing at T's appearance and her cosplay. Like, you have no business flirting with somebody half your age at best. It's fucking creepy. It's weird. It's a weird thing to do. And sadly, this wasn't the only instance of this happening at this convention, as multiple people and videos spoke out against this man, as well as others who were harassing people, filming them, making fatphobic or nasty comments about people's appearance, and just generally being thoroughly unpleasant. Again, this was by no means all of the DreamHack or Arnold attendees by any stretch. Actually, many within the bodybuilding community rallied together to talk about how much they disliked this behavior, supporting cosplayers and speaking up for defending cosplayers and basically saying, hey, we shouldn't be making fun of this. Like, this is cool, you know? So it was nice to see a lot of bodybuilders being respectful, interested in the hobby sincerely and in good faith. And sure, like many people try to do, you can argue that it's a public space. You're allowed to film who you want or what you want. There's no law against it. But like, surely it is kind of weird, and it should feel weird to you, filming people who are just minding their own business to make fun of them, to sexually harass them, to post them online without the knowledge. Like, people sleuthing a camera and bothering people is weird. It's not illegal, but it's just odd that you would want to do that. As someone myself who attends anime conventions, and I also film within the con halls, I film myself, I film the environment of a convention as B-roll, as vlogs, as stuff for Patreon, as stuff for my content, I understand that it can be very difficult to not film people in a highly densely packed area. Again, I'm not blaming people for catching somebody in the background, because realistically, you can't do a consent form for every single stranger that's milling around, minding their own business. But there's a difference between filming the environment of a place and just managing to capture people within that who consented to being filmed by entering that space, and actively trying to track down an individual or focus on an individual and film somebody, essentially making them the focal point of your camera and bothering them. There's a big difference between the two, and again, it's all about intention. I also want to point out, obviously, I'm not just saying it's just men doing this, anyone can be doing this, but unfortunately, a lot of the kind of criminal activity coming from this does tend to seem to be predominantly from men. I have seen women also just doing this, harassing people, bothering people, so again, by no means is this like a one-sided thing. I hate all street interviewers equally. I hate without prejudice, but unfortunately, in this instance, it was a lot of guys harassing a lot of women. Again, it's a tale as old as time. It's just now caught on video, sadly. And shit, when I was in Japan recently, I was the subject of a lot of filming that I didn't want to be a part of and being bothered when I didn't want to be bothered. I was having a lunch meeting with Kurebayashi and one of my friends, and we're sitting on a rooftop terrace in Harajuku, a really nice overlook for the main kind of strip of the back streets of Takashidori near Urahara, and there was a lot of tourists around there because it's a hot day, it was a good view, and it was predominantly like Italian middle-aged women who kept coming over, got their phone out like this, and just began filming me and Kurebayashi and my friend, literally just filming and taking photos. And I ended up having to be really kind of rude and aggressive multiple times during my holiday because people kept doing this. And one instance where we were having this kind of luncheon, these women sat opposite, did that once, I told them off and I was like, no, like we're saying no, like don't film. Don't, like, we're actually having a meeting as well, number one. But number two, don't film, we don't want that. Like, no thank you, nope, like, doing a symbol. They just kind of acted snobby, a bit pissed off, and just put their phone away, kind of. And then they tried to do it again at the end of lunch. As we were leaving, they were trying to do it again. To the point where I walked over to them, I squared up a little bit, and I was like, no, we've told you no. Like, we've told you no. And then they're like, oh, sorry. And admittedly, I got a little bit angry at that point, because I was like, oh, you do understand English then? So you do understand English? Put it away, like that. I also took a picture of them as well as revenge. So here they are. They were very rude. I feel like it should be common sense that if you do spot somebody who looks more alternative or interesting in public, that doesn't give you the green light to then go over to them, bother them, touch their clothing, touch their face, and essentially make them the subject of your phone gallery. This rise in personal surveillance culture is only becoming more and more evident as a step in the wrong direction. Every well-meaning account wanting to enlighten or educate, there's at least 10 more that use spyware and rage as a way of seeking easy viewership and engagement online, leaving their comment sections as a space for unmoderated hate and bigotry. Not to mention that many people don't realize that footage captured through Meta glasses is actually being used by Meta to train AI, with workers at Meta being tasked to sit and sift through hours upon hours of footage captured through people's Meta glasses, such as going to the bathroom, such as indecent imagery. Like, do you really know where the Meta footage that you're filming or you're featured in ends up in the end? Faces of strangers being used to train AI without even knowing it. People want their 5 seconds of fame, but instead of putting themselves out there to do it, they instead leverage loose public filming laws and make other people do the heavy lifting. Running up to alternative teenagers on the street and claiming that you're a photographer isn't the slay, fun, feel-good content that you think it is. Neither is lingering around places like Carnaby Street or Times Square, hoping to film people and then edit their replies to your questions to make them look stupid, to make them look funny, to make them look bigoted. Because yes, people will also actively script misleading questions, will actively edit content that they film to make the people involved look bad, look stupid. People will ask very similar questions like, is Britain in the European Union or is Britain in Europe? Both of those questions, and then they'll edit the answers together. So is Britain in Europe? No. Like, people will edit them to make the people and the subjects of their videos, the people that they're taking off the street to answer these questions, look stupid. That is a thing. You don't know where the footage of you ends up and how it's going to be edited. So never ever step on camera unless you're happy with whatever you're saying being twisted a million different ways.
Don't accept a social media street interview unless you're 110% okay with your responses being edited to fit an agenda.
As somebody that does the street interview garbage quite a bit, this is 100% true. It's way too easy for people on the internet now to have their lives ruined over really dumb stuff, and that's part of the reason why I have such strict rules with myself when I do these interviews. First of all, I don't ask people if they want to do interviews. I hold up a sign. Kind of like this that says quick interview for a TikTok. I literally just stand there until people come up to me because I don't want to be the weird guy that's coming up and asking strangers. And also, a lot of people even film your rejection and use it against you too, which is really weird. Also, I do tell people the questions before we actually start rolling. That way they can prepare a response, but also that way they can be okay with the question that I'm asking, especially if it's about some sort of touchy subject that not everybody wants to talk about. And the last and most important thing that I do that I hope a lot of other people do too is they give the interviewees full control over their own clips. Yes, the video is on my phone, and yes, I'm going to be the one that edits and posts it onto my own account, but I always have the rule where if an interviewee just gets done with an interview and they're like, actually, you know what? Can you delete that? you delete it. And if you post it and they don't like the way they're being perceived, if they reach out to you, you delete it. They should always have control over what they say, even though it's on your phone. Obviously, not every interviewer follows these rules, so always be mindful of what you're saying to these people, and always make sure it's okay to be said if it were to be seen by 20 million people. Because if you accidentally say the wrong thing, sometimes it might, and that would suck to watch people's lives get ruined over a dumb soundbite that they gave late on a Friday night when some idiot with a camera like me comes up with a bright light and a stupid microphone like this saying, "Who do you hate? What's your most controversial opinion?" or whatever other garbage that the internet wants.
This style of content has not only rapidly become a way to bully people for the way they look or the way that they live, but also to push radical political ideologies and hatred. Not all hypotheticals need answering, and I personally couldn't give a fuck if you speak my language.
How much did you pay for your first house?
Who the hell are you? And why are you being so intrusive? That's a rude question. It's none of your business.
But I guess let me know down below, what do you think of street interview content? Have you ever been in a street interview? Have you wanted to be in a street interview? Personally, I kind of just hate all street interviewers, actually. Equal opportunity hatred. I don't think that they're interesting. I don't think that they do anything creative. So often it just seems like an opportunity to use other people more interesting or educated than you as a way to gain viewership. There's a few that I do like, but they're clearly constructed to be actual interviews. There's one which is like interview on public transport. I enjoy that because they clearly actually like properly set up, do consent forms. It's treated like a production. There's another one as well, which is like queer media and queer history. And again, they go up to people, talk about queer stuff. And again, clearly these are people who have been pre-prepped. It's done in good faith. I haven't seen anything from them that gives me the impression that they're trying to make these people look bad. Again, you just don't know how people are going to edit it. And again, you just don't know who the person behind the camera is. Are they a nationalist? Are they an extremist? Are they racist? Are they homophobic? Like, you don't know what agenda, what political ideology you're going to be thrust into. And equally, one other thing I want to point out, and I'm going to blur this guy's info so nobody can give him attention, but there's a guy that stands around in city areas with transphobic rhetoric on a giant billboard. He had a horrific one at Christmas, which was Santa doesn't visit trans children. It was something really, really mean. And all of it is inciting violence and harassment and discourse in public. Like, he wants you to get angry and come over to him. He has meta glasses, he has a DJI, he is constantly filming, and his content's shit, it's slop, but he is actively trying to get people to argue with him. Often these are people who are queer, who are alternative, brightly coloured hair, septum ring, and they'll come up to him in good faith and try and debate him. They'll try and have an intellectual debate, and his only interest is getting clips, and so he'll actively try and rage bait them, farm views, misunderstand what they're saying, twist what they're saying. So again, if you see people in public who are doing the whole Jesus hates gay people, people hate this, please actually just don't give them the attention, don't film them, don't take pictures, don't interact with them. The only way that they have an online platform to begin with is people go over and try and argue with them, debate them. The whole issue with this debating idea when it comes to street interviewers is that you're assuming both of you are coming into this with good faith intentions to have a good faith conversation, and often that's not the case. It would just be twisted and turned, and so you do have to be careful, again, with how you interact with people on the street. If you see me filming an anime convention, please be aware I'm not filming you, by the way. I feel like people sometimes misunderstand. Sometimes I'm sleuth filming bootleg stuff. One, for brands, because sometimes I actually just get asked by companies to check if things are authentic or not, because they do, that is a thing that you do. Authentic companies that are vending at certain events will actually ask people to go around and check if things are bootleg or not, because then they can go to the con staff and say, yeah, we verified that this is fake, kick them out. But also, I might be filming for a video that I've done before, such as talking about Comic-Con slop. I'm filming like that, that's why. But usually if I'm filming an artist alley and stuff, I've asked first. Like, I've asked the artist, I've asked the person who owns the stall. If you ever see me filming, I'm not filming you, I promise. I am just filming the environment. I'm getting B-roll, I promise. And as always, let me know what craft, what creative thing are you currently doing? Are you crocheting? Are you drawing? Is it old man yaoi? Who knows? I don't, so show me. Tag me on an Instagram story and let me know. But of course, as always, I want to thank my beautiful patrons, everyone from the casual tier all the way to our Oshi tier, with our Oshi tier members being Nina Hopkins, Falky Gone Missing, Lucy, Shy Raw, Harakivo, Danny16, Meryl Iram, Neon Ferris Wheel, Florenciaga, Hive Angel, Onyx, Kira, Mooney's Silly Palace, Icy Law, Rami Does Her Best, and and Crybaby Mothman, as well as all of our beautiful Otaku team members as well, who are also on screen. Subscribing on Patreon from the casual tier up not only nets you benefits such as ad-free and downloadable viewing of all of my existing content, but if you are Otaku or Oshi tier members, you also get exclusive Patreon content such as vlogs, such as reactions, such as early viewing of my upcoming content too. You get to watch that early. It is a great way of supporting me as well and allows me to do longer projects. It allows me to take more time on projects. As you might be able to tell, I have recently moved. I've kept it looking very similar, but I have moved. And the fact that I've made it look so similar is a testament to how much time I've spent unpacking, moving, and decorating my home. And so again, having the ability to do that is in part thanks to Patreon being a source of income whilst I take time to do that. Because again, I script, I edit, I film. I only get help with editing for clips from one of my editors, as well as videos from another, as and when I can afford to, as and when I need the help to do that. And so again, most of the time it's a one-woman team, but I have fantastic people to tag in when I need help. And again, Patreon allows me to tag people in to help me edit. But as always, the cheapest and easiest way of supporting me and what I do is by liking the video, commenting on the video down below, having a discussion, engaging with the video really does help. Please drop a comment, tell me what you're making, tell me your thoughts, as well as obviously saving the video, using the hype feature, which I think is a new tool that they've added for mobile, and obviously subscribing and hitting the bell icon to never miss an upload. Subscribing really helps me. It shows YouTube that you enjoy my content. It means that you never miss anything that I post, and hopefully I can get to the goal of 350,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I have no idea if we're going to make that goal because we're over halfway through the year now, but we can be optimistic. Let's be optimistic. And now, as always, it is time for the end of the video outfit check and some of your amazing fan art. Again, if you want to do fan art, you don't need to ask my permission. The only thing that I ask is if you want me to see it, just tag me. Tag me on Instagram, tag me on TikTok. Make sure that you're tagging me, make sure that you're letting me know that you've done fan art so I can hype it up, I can see it, I can save it, and I can hopefully share it with people at the end of my video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, it is time for the end of the video outfit check. I am very warm, very sweaty, but I am about to go and see Evil Dead Burn, so I am dressing very low-key and casual because I am very warm. On the top of my head, we have my goggles. These are from AliExpress. I got them like 6 years ago or something now. They're very good. They were like £2. They're just really good. They're really good. I wear them all the time, so they're easy to clean. They're durable as hell. Like, oh my god, these have gone through like multiple moves. These are divas. And again, they're really comfy. I do have proper leather pilot goggles, but I just find that these sit on my head better, especially when it's hot. So if you do like something on your head, you like a head decoration, but you're also a little bit like sensitive to stimulation on your head or anything too tight or compressing, this is actually a really good option. Then around my neck, we have my Named Collective choker. I have my thrifted crucifix and chain. This is by, I think it's called Wolfman BR in Japan. And then the chain is a silver one that I got from a London market. This is I love this piece. It's really cool. And then this top, this tank top, this muscle top, I don't know what you'd call it. This was also a thrift. I actually got this the other week from a charity shop. It was like £2 and it was really hot outside. So I was like, oh, I'll buy that because it's really warm. I don't really have a lot of summer appropriate clothing. And here we are. I really like it. It's really comfy. Again, it's really good for the summer. And if I want to do a JJK cosplay of Maki, which I really do want to do, this is also really good for that. And then finally on the bottom, I'm just wearing my Minga London jorts, which again, I got secondhand off of Vinted. We can see a theme here, but these are really good. Obviously, I've got them in jorts mode currently. It is a little bit too hot for jorts still, but I don't really have anything else to wear right now. So yeah, we're just gonna go with the jorts and kind of tough it out, thug it out. But yeah, that is today's outfit. Obviously, big up to all the people who have done amazing fan art. As always, a big thank you to you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.